Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines, a big one on the Bitcoin ETFs and their purchasing that they did in the past month, and how it's going to lead to a supply shock, because they did a lot of buying. I'm noticing that my jacket that I'm wearing is kind of messing with the green screen. So let's take that off so it doesn't mess with the green screen no more. I didn't even think about it. It's a little cold in my house this morning. It's 5 degrees outside, so trying to stay warm in here without turning up the heat too much. So the other headline I have is going to be on the US JPY pair and kind of some of the forecasts that we're seeing going into this year. There is the potential for a, a rate hike from Japan, and it's looking like we're not going to be seeing any rate cut from the US coming into the beginning of 2025. So, kind of bodes a little unsettling to me on what we might see for capital flow coming out of the US and back into Japan. I did see some interesting comments in chat. We do have Jesse Gulek in here saying good morning, good morning. We've got username saying hello, and username with the BC taking off clothes. Meow. I didn't like how I was messing with the green screen. I like my green screen, and I'm not trying to be a part of my green screen. So let's dive on in and get you prepped for some success today. I do have the stock heat map pulled up, so let's dive on to that. We did see a very red day off of the data. It came in a bit hotter than was expecting, and it kind of sent the market in a bit of a tumble, seeing some strong indicators in areas that have been talked about, like employment, kind of gave some worrying signals to people who had overconfidence in some of the inflation that we were seeing, and caused a bit of a bit of a sell-off. We did see things like the Dixie getting a nice move up. Some of your bonds were being bought up. You did see gold and silver getting a nice move up along with the dollar. So some of the things I had talked about yesterday, and the stock market and your other risk assets really got that sell off. So Apple sitting down 1.14%, and in the pre-market continuing on that down 0.22. It's been wavering a bit. I did see it peak out at about 0.4% down. So Nvidia also got hit very big. It caused a lot of your indices to have that giant tumble that they saw, down 6.22%. In the pre-market though, it is doing a little bit better than the rest of your big 7. It is sitting up 0.78. You did have Berkshire Hathaway, which did all right yesterday. While the rest of the market was getting that sell-off, it was neutral, 0.33% up, and in the pre-market it is sitting neutral at a 0% change. We did have Amazon, another big one that got some sell-off and caused some of those indices to tumble a bit. We got 2.42% down in the pre-market, almost sitting neutral, down 0.04% right now. We got Eli Lilly doing all right yesterday, up 1.07%. They've been releasing some new drugs into the market or getting FDA approval on some other things. So their stock's been doing pretty nicely. they are sitting up in the pre-market, just a smidge up 0.03%. We've got ExxonMobil, which also did quite nicely yesterday. Kind of one of those inflation resistant assets, or when everything else is not getting bought up, you know what people still buy? Oil. So same as some of your home goods and things like that. That's why P&G and your bigger retail stores do so nicely. Walmart was down 0.68% yesterday when Amazon was down 2.42. So we got ExxonMobil up 0.94%, and in the pre-market looking down just a little bit. We will get some crude oil information that could send things up just a little bit more for oil. Tesla also got hit big yesterday, down 4.06%. In the pre-market, getting hit a little bit hard as well, down 0.73% right now. We've got Microsoft, which was also another biggie, down 1.28%. And the pre-market, kind of like Nvidia, doing a little bit decently. It is up 0.15%. We do have Google, which was hit moderately yesterday, down 0.63%. In the pre-market, though, it is getting hit a little bit harder, down 1.18%. And to round out that big seven, we've got Meta sitting down 1.95 in the pre-market, also continuing on those losses, down 0.39%. We've got crypto, pretty much a sea of red. We do have one outlier in that top 10, and that's XRP. We will get to that chart a little bit later. You might have to remind me. I will put it on the list, though. XRP. We'll take a look at that one later because it's been doing some interesting things. We've got Bitcoin sitting down a 1.83%, Ethereum sitting down 0.86. We got XRP up 2.92. We got BNB sitting down 0.15. Solana is sitting down at 3.29. We've got Dogecoin down 0.45. Cardano is sitting down 0.28. And to kind of wrap out that big top 10, we've got Tron sitting down 1.25, Avalanche down 2.51, Sweet is sitting down 4.76, and Toncoin is down 1.33. We do have Chainlink sitting down 2.88, and like XRP, Stellar Lumens is doing quite nicely as well, up 3.25%. Let's hop over to the economic calendar real quick and dive into the data that's going to be coming out today. We do have ADP on employment change and continuing jobless claims and initial jobless claims that will be coming out at 8:30 Eastern Time. This will be a big market mover for the morning. We do have some other light data that is coming out, like used car prices month over month and year over year. Nothing too heavy, that did keep some other inflation metrics afloat back in the previous month. So it is something to keep your eye on. We do have total vehicle sales as well and wholesale inventories month over month. And then at 10:30, we are getting that crude oil information. It's looking like we are going to be ticking up just a little bit more on our crude oils, on our gasoline stock change, just a bit for America. So some good information for oil that might send that price up just a bit. We do have some heavy data today, and that will be the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to keep your eyes out on that because we will most likely see a bit of some market movements off of it when we get some information on how the FOMC is looking at this year's rate cuts, because they've already talked about decreasing the amount of rate cuts from 4 to 2 this year. And to gauge that, kind of how we're going to get the cuts will be the next thing that the market really wants to see. Are we going to get a rate cut sooner? Are we going to get a rate cut later? Is it going to be a long period where we hold rates like the UK did for a while, or like the European Union did, where we might see a little bit of that inflation pressure tick back up, like some of those countries have, to kind of wait for things to start cooling back down? We are seeing some contractions in some of our markets, and this does not bode well for inflation pressure. Let's say hello to the chat real quick before we kind of dive back into that. I don't know what my Alexa's doing in the background. All right, we have username saying drill baby drill. Start looking at energy stocks, and that's one thing that I do quite a lot. I do participate in that tradfi market because money is money. We got RCN246 saying good morning. Maybe a band-aid in here with the good morning. Petroleum will never go away, says username. It most likely will not go away until we have an alternative source of energy, which will be nuclear, and that's something that I've been participating in for quite a while. I do like those nuclear stocks. So we've got Alexandra G in here with the good morning BC Port Corp. Good morning, Alexandra G. Hope you're getting your caffeine in this morning and having a nice calm morning so far. We've got Jeffrey Stonesetter in here with the good morning, everyone, dropping those otters in the chat. We've got Darren Does Things saying a bit late, catching up on 4 minutes behind. Too many updates to get out this morning because of the dumpster fire the last day. Well, I hope you get all caught up on work today and you can get a little bit of some breathing time in your day. We do have maybe a banding saying FOMC minutes. Yes, those will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Username saying Darren Does Things could have just snuck in and took a seat in the back of the class. Oh, chat's moving quick. We've got Donato Cabrera in here. Good morning, good morning. And looks like, oh, we've got French Toaster in here as well. Good morning, good morning. BC even hates Boston. If we're talking about baseball, I most definitely do because I'm a Yankees fan. The Yankees are a great team. I've got a lot of family in New York, and one of the best baseball games I've ever seen in my life was a New York Yankees game. So that kind of sold me as a kid, and I've never liked any other baseball team since then. Let's hop into the fear and greed and the liquidation heat map before we dive into that Bitcoin chart today. We do have the stock market sitting at 36 and fear up a point, which is quite surprising considering the big sell-off that we got yesterday. I guess they kind of priced in some of that, and only the people that were really unexpecting some of the inflation pressures to be a little bit different than was expected were really the ones that sold off yesterday. So not too much fearful in that stock side of things, but we did see crypto take a big tumble, down 8 points to 70, and greed just outside of that extreme greed that we were sitting in the other day after our big move up over the weekend. Getting a little bit of some cool offs, and we might see a little more cooling off on that fear and greed. We'll have to dive into that after we hit this liquidation heat map. We do have the monthly looking quite nice, just a light hot spot to the bottom side of us, sitting at 91,029, which is right around the platinum pocket that I've been talking about, that I thought we could see a potential bounce on, which looking like we could still see a potential bounce on. The markets and the economy are kind of pushing things down right now. I thought we'd get a bit of a move to the upside after taking out some of this liquidity to the bottom. It looks like they wanted to take out some of that top side liquidity first. That was sitting at that $100,000 range before really sweeping those bottom side liquidity points. If you zoom it on in to that weekly, you can kind of see we are taking out the liquidity that has been stacking up to the bottom side of us. We had some at 97, we had some here at 95, and we've got a little bit sitting below us at 94 for the weekly. Plenty of room to go grab that to the bottom side. We do have a bit of a hot spot to the top side sitting at 103,000. I think it might be a little bit before we go grab that. If you take a look at that 3-day, you can kind of see we are clearing up a lot of the bottom side liquidity, and we're really waiting for that top side liquidity to be that pull towards the top. I do think we will see more buying as you see companies like MicroStrategies who are trying to get $2 billion more dollars to buy more Bitcoin. So definitely going to see some of these buying pressures start ticking in at the bottom side of these ranges. And with the Bitcoin ETFs doing what they did the last month, we'll see some more supply shock coming in as well to drive us back up to this 103, 356. We will have to see where that bottom resides, but I do have that bit of a range at below that platinum pocket on a retracement, and my total downside target was about 86,700. Let's say hello to the chat real quick, and before we dive into that Bitcoin chart, I did see a question. Arsan246 saying, what nuclear stocks are you looking into? A bunch of these are more of the energy side of things. I'll have to drop a list. If you're in the Discord, let me know what your name is in there so I can tag you in a message in the Discord with that list. Most of them are the more energy dependent stocks where they've already got nuclear power plants and things like that that are in the works in different regions of the country, and that's kind of the safe bet for now. I did have a few nuclear defense stocks as well, so I can kind of drop those in the chat for you later. I have my list elsewhere, and I'm not trying to go diving into my computer on that. Let's see. Username saying, I told you, Toaster, Boston sucks. Yeah, their sports teams are not amazing. I've never been to Boston, so I can't really say if the city sucks. Let's see. Randy Abite in here. Good morning, Randy Abite. I hope you're having a great morning and getting that coffee in before we dive into some of these charts. If anyone has any alt requests that they'd like me to take a look at, I don't really have a lot on the markets that I was wanting to show this morning. On the TradFi side of things, I did want to show a few of the indices and the dollar. I did want to show near as well because I do see a bit of a move heading towards near. Username saying Arsan, unless you want ETFs, then you have NLR or NUKZ. I'll have to take a look at those. We've got username saying, don't forget, for every 100 nuke plants, there's one Homer Simpson. Oh boy. Banana Republic 2039 saying, did I miss CAS TA? I have not hopped into any TA yet, so I can definitely add that to the list. Caspa. We did have near requested, which I was already going to show because I did see a nice little point where we might see some buying pressure on, and ENA as well. All right, let's dive into this Bitcoin chart real quick. We've got the 4-hour pulled up for Bitcoin right now. As you can see, we got a nice bounce right above that platinum pocket for the holiday season. And as we moved into the new year, we got that push above the golden pocket, which we are now sitting right back above. We did get a pretty nice close rejection off of that 236 at that 103,000, where our bunch of our top side liquidity is now residing. Arsan saying his name is the same in the Discord. I will definitely drop that in the Discord for you a little later this morning. And he asked for Sol. So I will definitely take a look at that sold chart as well. For this 4 hour, you can see that we've got a little more room to the downside to push. I don't know if that's going to be too much more downside and a break below the golden pocket, because you can definitely get that cool off on your MACD and your prime oscillator by just moving sideways on top of the golden pocket and really turning that into support. As you can kind of see here, every time we've moved through the golden pocket and to the top side, we don't turn it into support on the way up. So seeing that turn into some support here would bode well for a continued move to the upside. But with some of the downside pressure we do see, we could just stall out here at the golden pocket and continue the move to the downside before we really grabbed this bottom side liquidity sitting here at our platinum pocket, which is that 91,100 range. So that would be that point I would look for if we do lose the golden pocket, that sweep of the bottom side liquidity before we really start seeing some of that buying pressure coming back in and trying to move back up to that top side where all the liquidity is lying at that 103,000. I see Crypto Billion here saying good morning, good morning. Good morning, Crypto Billy. I appreciated your video this morning. Let me drop that in the chat. If anyone hasn't been watching Crypto Billy's video series that he drops every morning, I definitely think you should take a look at those. They are great, quick videos and a great way to start the morning with some positivity. Go ahead and check that out. I dropped that link in the chat for you. I do see Jay Violet in here saying hi, and Bob Lornis is ETH going up. We'll definitely have to take a look at that ETH chart as well. I don't know if I can really take any other requests there because I've got about 6 to look at. So let's zoom it in on that Bitcoin chart and take a look at that 1 hour. We did have the liquidity, which is sitting red on the 4 hour and is moving sideways in the red on that 1 hour chart. You are getting a bit of some curvature on your prime oscillator, and your MACD is right at that point where it's looking sideways in line with that indicator line as well. So this could just be a nice cooling off period before we try to break to the top side of that MACD. As you can kind of see here, I will zoom it in there. You're getting that MACD which crossed your indicator line and is now moving to the bottom side of it, but we've got some heavy curvature on that MACD line, which is looking to go right back above that indicator line, which kind of bodes well for a little bit of some top side pressure or some sideways movement here on the golden pocket. You have the prime oscillator with some reversals and some oversold signals and a divergence which stacked up, which hasn't really played out yet. So definitely looking for that bottom side pressure to turn into some buying pressure here on our 1 hour chart. As our 4 hour are already started to roll over, we are going to zoom that in just a little bit to kind of see what the morning might bring us on that 15-minute chart. As you can see, like your 1 hour, your MACD is getting that same curvature here on the bottom side of things, looking to move to the top side of our indicator line, but still on the negative side of things. I did see Knox Bill saying good morning, and yo, good morning, Knox Bill. You've got your 15-minute first reversal signal, which has finally flashed, kind of boding well that we might see a reversal here in a little bit. Definitely waiting for a few other reversal signals to flash, like some more oversold signals and probably 2 more reversal signals to really flash as we're waiting on that positive money flow to come back in. You do have your outflows, which are starting to slow up a bit on this 15-minute and looking to cool off right here on that golden pocket while we wait for our FOMC minutes for today. Depending on what those FOMC minutes bring this afternoon depends on if we really hold that golden pocket or not. So I do think with some of the indicators that we've been hearing from some of our FOMC chairs that we might not get some of the information and that FOMC minutes that some of the market is really wanting to hear. So could drag us down just a little bit and see that bottom side liquidity hit at our platinum pocket before we really make that bottom on things and maybe tick just a little bit lower and hit that real top side. Because if you zoom it on out, take a look at that weekly, there's plenty of downside pressure here, and our liquidity just switched over to the red, and we've got that heavy curvature on our MACD as well as our prime oscillator looking like it wants to cool off a little bit for that weekly view. All right, let's dive into this news article real quick. We do have Bitcoin at risk of supply shock as ETF issues buy more BTC than was produced in December. This bodes very, very well for what we've seen over and over again. We do see Bitcoin get that strong move to the upside when we see that supply shock. So that supply shock is coming from more directions than we've ever seen before. And the ETF is going to be a big part of that. I do see Dave Digital in here as well. Good morning, Dave Digital. Let's see. Let's dive into that article. The world's largest cryptocurrency may be at risk of supply shock as demand from the United States spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds has surged beyond expectations. In December 2024, the volume of BTC acquired through spot ETFs more than tripled the amount mined during the same month, underscoring the severe imbalance between supply and demand. Spot Bitcoin ETFs trigger supply shock risks. In December 2024, US spot Bitcoin ETFs purchased an astonishing 51,500 Bitcoin. On the other hand, BTC miners produced only 13,850 coins during the same period, according to the data from blockchain.com. This indicates that Bitcoin ETFs alone purchased nearly 4 times the amount BTC miners generated and supplied to the markets that month. According to reports, the demand for ETFs in December was nothing short of extraordinary, exceeding the available supply by approximately 272%. This massive increase in demand for spot Bitcoin ETFs has raised concern about potential BTC supply shock, with analysts suggesting that it could happen soon. Specifically, Lark Davis, a crypto analyst, announced earlier in December that a massive supply shock is imminent. The analyst based this alarming forecast on the significant accumulation of BTC from US spot Bitcoin ETFs. Davis disclosed that at some point in December, BTC ETFs had bought 21,423 Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the miners had only produced 3,150 Bitcoin around the same time. The analyst also noticed that BTC ETFs globally held approximately 1,311,579 Bitcoin as of December 17, 2024. The amount, valued at 139 billion, accounts with 6.24% of Bitcoin's total supply of 19.8 million. Given this staggering figure, Davis projects that during peak bull market phases, spot Bitcoin ETFs could hold 10 to 20% of Bitcoin's total supply, raising more concerns about major supply shock. And this is something we will have to keep our eyes on, especially as we normally see supply shocks happening within supply shock happening sometime closer to our summer period where things kind of slow down. You see our retracement before we really get that buy back up. That first run to the top side is normally that first supply shock, and you see a lot more buying pressure during that sell off, which increases that supply shock. Considering that we're seeing more buying pressure this time around from the TradFi markets, you can expect to see that go just a little bit faster. I also had this one. Yep, the stream's lagging just a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on with it this morning. I did hardline things, so hopefully that fixes itself. I was unable to stream on Monday because the Wi-Fi kind of sucked. So U.S. dollar JPY dollar hits fresh 7th-month high against yen as Bank of Japan lacks rate hike timing. Staying true to itself, the Bank of Japan once again tight-lipped on any future rate hikes, failing to support the yen's value. The US dollar JPY pair advanced further to the upside earlier Wednesday, extending its swing to a third day in a row. The US dollar peaked this morning to a 7th-month high of 158 before coming down a bit to trade near the 158 threshold. Once again, it seems that the stars are aligned to have the dollar yen bulls. US inflation appears to be creeping up, boosting the dollar, and the Bank of Japan is staying put on interest rates, knocking the yen. In Japan, central bank's boss Kazuya Udeo said in a press conference earlier this week that officials are looking to raise interest rates further only if the economy allows it. In other words, things should keep improving. Lower interest rates generally boost economic growth as business and consumers are encouraged to borrow and spend, improving liquidity and overall well-being, but this has its risks too, like inflation flaring up, which has already happened. Stateside, the latest inflation data jolted the Forex markets and gave the US dollar a friendly nudge. Price growth in the services sector climbed to 64.4 in December, up from 58.2 in November, and above consensus calls for 57.5. Now markets are shifting their attention to looming Fed minutes later today. After that, the focus will be on Friday's job data. Both events are likely to stir the Forex space, offering nice trading opportunities. And this is why I've been taking a good look at the dollar. The dollar has been doing quite nicely, and I talked about it hitting some of these levels going into 2025 as we see the global economy kind of ticking in some of the wrong directions. You do see the inflation pressures from Japan creeping their way back up. Canada kind of sitting a bit neutral. It did get a boost up. The UK is also sitting at that point where it's starting to tick back up. It was up 0.2%. The European Union is also kind of at that same point. So as we are seeing some of the same happening in the US, but our dollar remaining strong, this bodes very well for the US dollar, especially since it's kind of the reserve asset for the world on currency. And it will get that boost up when the rest of the world is kind of doing bad. You do have the Dixie, which is sitting right there at the point that I wanted to see us break and turn into some support. That's that 109.35 as you can kind of see last time we got to that, which was January 2nd. We got a quick rejection off of it. And I talked about wanting to see that platinum pocket hold. That platinum pocket did not hold, and we drug down just a bit lower to make a double bottom before really pushing back up to that 109 point where we're looking to kind of make some more support. You are seeing some reversal signals flashing on your 1 hour and some overbought signals showing, but you've got plenty of room to run with this green liquidity on the hourly. If you zoom that out just a bit, take a look at that 4 hour. You can kind of see on the 4 hour, we just ticked to the green side of things. So this bodes very well for some of the upside pressure on the dollar. We will have to wait and see what comes from the FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock. But if we do see that tick back to the upside for the dollar, you can also expect gold and silver to make that same kind of run to the upside. You've got plenty of room to run on the 4 hour. You've got plenty of room to run on that daily chart as well. You are getting that bounce off of our indicator line on the top side of things. And your MACD, for your MACD and your prime oscillator has a divergence, which kind of already played out when we got that dip back below our platinum pocket, and we've really just been cooling off, moving sideways on our prime oscillator, and we are seeing that liquidity on our daily chart also just ticking to the green side of things. So plenty of upside pressure for the dollar. I did have some alt requests that I had seen in chat, so let's dive on into those. But first, I see the chat is moving quite quickly right now, so let's try to catch on up. I did see let's scroll all the way back. Richard Berry saying, Crypto Billy, I was live with TradeFly and FD White, and my mic kept glitching and it sounded robotic, so they started calling me RFK. Oh, no. I missed that episode. I'm normally asleep halfway through their show, so sometimes I don't get to tune in and I watch those later. But there's so much out there to kind of watch that I miss some of them. You're definitely gonna have to drop that one in the chat so I can check that one out because I love some laughs. Let's see, username. We even made a drinking game out of it. Of course you did, username. Let's see. I am BCDD in Vegas. Who knows what will happen, where we will go. Will we find Chow? We will most definitely find Chow, and we will most definitely find some barbecue. Because if I'm in Vegas, I'm going to eat some barbecue while I'm a little bit tipsy. Got Richard Berry with the Bitcoin crypto nightcap glass. We've got Moho in here. Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, Moho. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Crypto Billy saying, man, with all these institutions buying, nation states buying, whales like Sailor buying billions, and only 19.8 million, I can see $200,000 Bitcoin. It's math. And this is something I talked about on our New Year's show. I've talked about it a bit on my show as well. And that's that top side pressure for Bitcoin being around that 3618 or a little bit below, and that's around 225 to top side 252,000. If we do see more buying pressure from institutions, countries like in Europe, I can't remember off the top of my head right this second which country it was that said they were going to have a Bitcoin supply to back their dollar. Just put to vote for the not put to vote, but have a petition, which just needs 1% of their population to sign it, and they will have a Bitcoin supply for their country. Things like that will tick up these pressures, and you might see a more of a move back to what we're seeing for OC's massive prediction, where he said 500,000. I don't know if we get that high, really breaking trends at that point, but I do see that $200,000 mark being a good topping point for things. I did have that a little bit higher at that 1382, which was the 3382, which was at 200 and I believe 32,000. So, unlike Piper's dial-up, oh no, username saying stream is good. Seems good, unlike Piper's dial-up. Whew, he's got that Mexican internet sometimes, you know? My wife says BC sounds like a history teacher. Well, I do love history. I take that as a compliment. My dad really got me into history. So it's something I like talking about. And sounding like a history professor to me sounds like a compliment. Chat saying hello to each other. I see K Diggity in here. Good morning, K Diggity. Oh God, chat moving extra fast. Dave Digital, I got three words too. DCA. Yes, K Diggity. Or Dave Digital's LFG. Most definitely. Both of those work. DCA and LFG. Because it's going to rip here quite soon. All right, let's hop into some of these alt requests. I did have near requested, and I was looking at near this morning. Let's zoom that on out to our 4 hour and kind of get a better view on things. You do have your liquidity, which is moving to some slower outflows on near. We're waiting for some of those bottoming signals to really come in. I do have this potential trend line, which I do think we might break below. It does look like we have some bottom side pressure for some of the market, and I do think we hit back in my green box, which has been a buying range, sitting at right below that 50% line on our fib extension, where we've got $4.94, and goes all the way down here to $4 and about 77 cents. You could definitely see some wicks below it. Like if you zoom this on out to the daily, you do see your wicks below coming in at where we bottomed out here at some of our highs back here at $4.51. Looking to kind of make a more macro higher low, which is definitely something we could do in this green box here, where we're going to see a lot of buying pressure, and we've seen it over and over and over again, especially back here. Uh, when we had our move to the upside, and we've created a fair value gap all the way through it. When we hit back at that $4 and about 60-cent range over and over, you do see either buying or selling pressure. Depends on how these FOMC minutes are going to be coming out, but I do think we start seeing some buying pressure as we continue to see that slide to the bottom side. Your daily liquidity is red. Your 4 hour was also red, but slowing down. You are at that point where you could start seeing some reversal signals start flashing. Your 1 hour already has some of those reversal signals, where you've got your MACD, which just crossed your indicator line, but is looking to really cool off here right on top of our support line, and see a potential wick below that, depending on how Bitcoin really moves the market this morning. You do have a potential bouncing point at $4.95 and that 50% fib line, but I do think we break a little bit below that. Let's see how that 15-minute chart's looking to kind of see how the morning might gauge. You do have your MACD, which is looking across our indicator line on the bottom side of things and kind of bring us down just a little bit more. You do see this being a very big downtrend for near, and you're not seeing any reversal signals on that 15-minute. You weren't seeing any on the 4 hour either. So really needing to either see a cool off or some more drag down on the near price, where that green box is looking really juicy. That $4.91 all the way down to $4.77. Let's take a look at XRP. It's been a while since I've taken a look at XRP, but it is doing quite nicely. It is now taken that number 3 spot, excluding, it actually took the number 3 spot, including our stable coins. It passed Tether, so we are sitting right above our 382 here. let's zoom it on out and get that better view on things. As you can kind of see here, I did want to see us hold some of our golden pockets uh, when we got those dips to the downside, which is definitely something that XRP has maintained quite nicely and kind of bodes well for the upside pressure in our current range. You did get that move back up above our 236 before we dropped down and made a higher macro low. As you can kind of see here, you've got a trend line that's running quite nicely. It is kind of shallow, so definitely got some more downside pressure here in the range if we were unable to maintain some of the lines here on our Fibonacci retracement. You are sitting with the liquidity looking kind of red here on the 4 hour, and looking to slow up as we're seeing reversal signals show, some oversold signals show. Really waiting to see that buying pressure come back in though. We did see a lot of buying pressure come in, which really pushed us back to the upside. Seeing a bit of a cool off here and maintaining that 50% fib would be a nice move to make. That is that $2.10 range, which has been a point of contention. When we lose it, we come back up quite quickly to come back above it. We really need to turn that into some support here if we want to maintain this move to the upside. Definitely seeing that selling pressure coming in on the 4 hour as well as our daily as well. You are sitting in red outflows, but they are slowing down. So also getting that curvature on the daily for our prime oscillator, and your MACD just crossed to the bottom side of our indicator line, but it is on the top side of things. So still a little bit bullish on things, even though we might see some dips down on XRP. Let's zoom in to that 1 hour, kind of see how that liquidity is going. We are getting a bit of some inflows here on our 1 hour, but we are at that point where we could start seeing a bit of some curvature on your prime oscillator as it is moving a bit sideways along with the MACD, which kind of indicate that you might see that break below this 382 and try to turn some areas below us into some support. If we don't make it all the way down to our 50% line, you do have a decent area up here from this price point here at about $4.21, where we could see a nice bouncing point on things. And that's an area where we rejected off of before coming back down. We made two attempts at that price before we really hit our support line to the bottom side and broke through very quickly, creating a fair value gap, which could be retested here and tried to turn into some support. Is really going to depend on how some of our higher term time frames are able to maintain liquidity. If we do see that quick reversal on our 1 hour here to the green instead of being just a light green, you could see some of this maintained here. Let's take a look at that 15-minute, kind of see we are seeing the reversal signals on the 15-minute. Our liquidity is from green to light green here, as well as our MACD hitting that indicator line on the top side of things and looking to break below. So definitely got a few points below us at about $4.21 all the way down to $4.10, where we could really see some bounces for XRP. All right, we had near that we already did. We've got XRP knocked off the list. We've got Caspa as well. It's been a long time since I've taken a look at Caspa. All right, let's try to find it. Should be in my favorites here. Caspa. There we go. All right, let's zoom that one back out. Let's take a look at our daily chart. All right, we've got a Fibonacci extension that we've had drawn out for quite a while here. Let's extend those lines to the right and kind of get a better view on things. I might have to redraw some of that comes from back there to the high to our low. Actually, let's delete that and redraw things for Caspa because it's been a long time. I kind of sold out back at some of the highs that we saw and haven't really been participating in Caspa since then. I've been stacking up on my objective and near. As you can kind of see, we are at some equal bottoming points. Let's get those drawn out from the candle bodies. Let's make it a horizontal line though. Not trying to draw that out. Candle bodies there where we've got nice wicks and bounces off of, which we could really drag back down to. Let's get a Fibonacci retracement from the low before the move on up. Let's hit that a little bit better. There we go. And to the top side there. All right. And right there. Let's lock that so we're not moving anything. All right. We've got our weekly liquidity ticking to from the a nice outflow to slowing down a bit on that. You are getting a lot of cool offs here on your prime oscillator, your MACDs, very far from your indicator line on the bottom side of things. Let's zoom it on in. Take a look at that daily there. You're sitting at above our 50% line on our fib retracement, but with your money flow looking kind of red on the daily, you've got heavy curvature on your prime oscillator looking to drag things down. You've got your MACD, which is looking to cross that indicator line, looking a little bearish on our higher term time frames. Let's zoom it on into that 1 hour, kind of see where things are lying. Also red on that 1 hour for liquidity. Kind of slowing down though, so definitely a point where we could start seeing some buying pressure. Your MACD is getting a nice cross on your 1 hour indicator line and looking to kind of tick back up. We do have a bit more of some downside, just like some of our other assets where we could really drag back down to strong support levels, and that would be that 10-cent range where I'd look on Caspa if we were unable to maintain this 50% fib line here. Let's zoom it on into that 15-minute, kind of see what the morning is bringing us. You do have plenty of downside pressure here, which kind of bodes that you might see that bottoming point here at that 10-cent range all over again. You do have your MACD line, which is looking to cross to the bottom side of your indicator line, as well as your prime oscillator looking quite red as your money flow is rolling over on things. So I definitely look at this 50% line being unable to hold and a bit of some more drag down on the Caspa chart here. Let's see what chat's saying. DDT, we traders forget to hodl. I never forget to hodl. I move my profits over to hodl bags almost immediately. I wait for those good buying points though, but I set limit orders and my profits automatically go over to hodl bags. That way I never lose my profits and I don't keep trading on them. I like to keep my trading account at about the same level, so I'm not really messing with things too much there. Darren does things saying, Dave Digital, I'm fussy. I ain't buying BTC at these prices just yet. Sub 90, I'll pick up some more. And that's that 86,700 was kind of my absolute bottom pressure. When that's that sub 90K, where if we are unable to maintain that platinum pocket where our top side liquidity, where our bottom side liquidity resides, you might see that drag down to the bottom. The secrets of the rich and famous. I'm not sure what that one was too, but that was from Crypto Billy. Do you think Pepe will run when ETH does? Really just depends. It's kind of hard to gauge some of that meme market sometimes, but you have been seeing the memes get a nice little boost up when the market is getting that move to the upside. So I do think we continue to see that trend and a lot of those memes running when the rest of the market runs. Let's take a look at ENA. I'm not sure if I have that. All right, looks like I don't have that on my list. That is a username project. So let's take a look at that. We're not on Forex. We are at crypto. All right, we'll take a look at it here and I'll add that to the list for you. I don't want that on my Forex. I want that on my crypto. There we go. Let's take a look at ENA. And looking like we're in a bit of a downtrend this morning, just like the rest of the market. Let's zoom that on out to the daily here, and it looks like it's got a nice move to the upside on things. So we'll kind of have to draw a fib retracement from this daily low to high, and we're sitting at right below that 382. Daily liquidity is in the red, but it is rolling over. We are seeing a bit of some downside pressure here on our daily. Let's zoom it on in, see that what that 4-hour chart is saying. You are seeing a bit of some reversal signals here on the 4-hour as your money flow is slowing down on those outflows. Really waiting to see more of some of those oversold signals flashing as we are dragging back down to this 382 and potentially trying to turn that into some support here. As you can see, we've gotten several bounces off of it back here and back here and back here, where this 382 and that 90-cent range is a very strong support level. Let's see what that 1 hour is saying and if we're starting to see some inflows on that 1 hour. Looking like the 1 hour is also sitting at that red outflow. It is slowing down just the same as on the 4-hour and the daily. You are not seeing any more reversal signals start flashing, and you are seeing a bit of a rollover on your MACD, where your MACD is crossing, just got that rejection off of our indicator line on the bottom side of things. The same time that your prime oscillator is rolling over and just went immediately from green to red. So definitely seeing some more bottom side pressure here if we're unable to maintain this 90-cent range. For ENA, I would look at a 50% line on the fib for some support here at 76 cents. Let's see what the 15-minute is showing for the morning. It's looking like we've got plenty of downside on the 15-minute. The 15-minute's already broken to the bottom side of the indicator line here and looking to drag back down quite heavily here. You do have your prime oscillator, which is already getting that push back down after it got that little move to the upside and really staying red here. So looking for some buying pressure down here at our 382 at 89 cents for the morning, and potentially seeing a break below that on some of the higher term time frames. Looking like that's about all I got time for this morning. I did get through about 5 alt requests, so doing a bit better on that. Saving some time for the alt requests. I do appreciate every single one of you that showed up this morning. It means a lot to me that you guys are here every single day, and I hope that I've been bringing you the information and the alpha that you hope for the mornings. If you have not hit that like button, it is a free way to support the channel and is greatly appreciated. If you haven't checked out our Discord, we do a lot in the Discord. We do have the paid section as well. It's called the WAP Upperclassmen, and that link is in the description. We also have 4 other shows daily on Piper Academy with OC Guy and Piper with the morning market report every morning at 9:30 Eastern time. We do have Trade Intuition with Trade Academy, who is a great teacher for some of these beginners and some of us who have been in the space and are a little confused about what we're seeing on the chart. He does a great job at breaking things down. That is at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We do have the Crypto Nightcap with TradeFly and FD White at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And to wrap it on out, Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you get notified for all of those shows that we have daily. Other than that, make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.